Vince Young undefeated as a starter this season, 21-11 in his career as a starter, but ultimately, can the Titans win what they need to with him in the future? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on the End Zone, presented by Nuvi Phone, the navigation phone from Garmin. CBSSports.com NFL columnist Clark Judge, CBS Sports' Iron Eagle. Guys, and that's a big question around the league and around the Titans, because Jeff Fisher was a little hesitant to make the switch. There were a lot of thoughts that it wasn't coming from him, it was coming from Bud Adams, but ultimately they're winning with Vince Young. Can that be a trend that can be for the future in Tennessee?
Well, I think it can, as long as Iron Eagle's in the house.
Undefeated with me doing the games, that's right. I'll be his personal broadcaster from here on out.
But it certainly can if he's playing as he does now. I mean, you look at what's he doing now that he wasn't doing before. He's not making mistakes. Yeah. He's completing 71% of his passes. They're playing better. They're not playing the level of opponents or some of the opponents that played earlier. So I don't want to stand here and not Kerry Collins. But Vince Young went to the playoffs once before, 2007. The Titans did win with him. They can win again if he eliminates the mistakes and if they run effectively. As long as you have Chris Johnson in the backfield, you're going to run effectively and play some decent defense. They've done that in the past. He did make a lot of mistakes in 2007, so they didn't get past San Diego. But he seems to be a different quarterback.
So, Ian, let me ask you this, because you've been with Tennessee the last 2 weeks. You had the game in San Francisco and the game here this past weekend with the Bills. What's been the hesitancy to go back to Vince Young? Why did it take so long then?
Well, I think Vince himself is a paradox in that this is a passing league, and Vince is not a great passer. You just have to watch the film. It doesn't look that good. He's not that accurate, although his numbers have been pretty good. Look, we can't have it both ways. We always talk about you are what your record says you are. Vince Young is 21-11 as a starter. If we just look at the numbers, the man has been successful in the NFL, yet I think there's still a lot of people within that organization that believe that the offense ran smoother with Kerry Collins, a true pocket passer. Vince Young has matured. There is no doubt about it. Over the last couple of years, I've seen a marked difference between the Vince Young of old and the Vince Young of today. More confident. I think he has been able to regain the trust of his teammates and his coaches. He's leaned on some people. Before Steve McNair passed away, that was one of the people that Vince Young really leaned on during the offseason. He told me that he spoke with Kobe Bryant at great length during the offseason, who constantly told him, hey, keep your head in the game, stay focused, you're going to get your opportunity. He did. He's a winner. He's been a winner his whole life. He's still learning how to play the quarterback position in the NFL. Mike Heimerdinger has played a huge role here, the offensive coordinator, who did wonders with Steve McNair when Heimerdinger was with the organization before moving on to Denver and the Jets. So maybe this is a marriage that's going to work, and Vince is going to find a way to win games consistently.
You talk about it being a passing league, and he's not that good of a passer. Fine. But we're seeing all these little nooks and crannies and glitches and all these type of things that are working, like the option. Like it's not even the wildcat. It's just running a straight option like you do in college. Can that work?
Can it work overall? Can you win in this league ultimately?
Obviously it can work now. Can it work overall?
Look, if you've got Chris Johnson back there, a lot of things can work. This guy is a supreme talent. He's not a good running back. He is an elite running back. He is a top 3 running back in the NFL right now. His speed is ridiculous. I've talked to enough people now that when you mention his name, they shake their head. I've never seen anyone like this. Those are the kind of statements you're hearing from guys that have been around the block in the NFL. Vince Young has been very fortunate to have Johnson, but Kerry Collins had Johnson too, and they weren't winning. So I do think that Vince has recognized that he needed to make some changes, and that really started in the film room and putting in a little extra time. And while you say that and you hope that players are always doing that, that's what their job is. It doesn't happen that way. I think Vince took some things for granted early in his career.
Clark, what would surprise you at the end of the season? They started off 0-6. What do you think we're looking at here for the Tennessee Titans as the season wraps up?
Well, I think at best we're looking at a 500 season.
But if starting 0-6, that's impressive.
No, that's real impressive. But you look at where this guy's been, and Ian's right. I mean, he's a winner. I mean, he's got a winning record, and I don't care if you don't light it up. I mean, Jake Delhomme didn't light it up in Carolina, but they won because you've got to play to your strengths. And here the strengths are: this team can run the ball. If they can eliminate the mistakes, they could be okay as long as that defense comes around. And there's some defensive shortcomings early, but they also played a tougher schedule early. So I think for them to be successful here in the second half of the season, if they go 7-9, 8-8, yeah, you go. There's some hope here. There's some hope.
And Jeff Fisher has a history of doing that. If I'm not mistaken, in 06, 1-4, and they went to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, and there were rumors that Jeff Fisher could be in trouble. In my mind, you know where a coach ranks among the NFL decision makers. If he lost a job, this job, he'd get a job the next day.
That's right.
That's how good he is. That's how well thought of he is around the NFL.
And the longest tenured head coach in the NFL right now as well.
Right.
So that'll do it for our segment here on Vince Young. Be sure to check out more here on CBSSports.com. That'll do it for the End Zone presented by Nuvi Phone, the navigation phone presented by Garmin with GPS navigation, preloaded maps, all the things that a great phone can do, all with AT&T service as well. For Clark Judge and Ian Eagle, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.